give this to us. They gave you heads up, that's not fair. Thank you. I'm so honored. I'm so extremely honored by this. I know that this is such a huge award because Brad McDonald was such a great man. And what this really means to us is huge. I mean, our involvement in Take Shape for Life has just literally changed our lives. I think back when we first started and where we were. And I really identified with Gwen's story, just where we were financially, where we were mentally, and where we were physically. All three areas just have been improved so much by Take Shape for Life. And I just think about where we are today. We're breaking ground on a brand new home. And I think back 7 years ago when we were about to lose our home and how we came to our first convention and we borrowed money from my parents. We drove there 14 hours. We put coaches in our car so we could afford the gas to get there. That was a fun trip, Christy Medina. And everything that we've gone through this last year, it's just amazing how much that our Take Shape for Life family, I mean, the prayers that were poured out for me and my brain tumor and my surgery that I had 7 months ago, I can't even tell you. My Facebook was blowing up, just so many messages and posts on my wall and emails and phone calls, making sure that I was okay. And that's what this is really about. It's about our Take Shape for Life family. And I consider every single one of me family.
To say it's an honor is kind of an understatement because I remember 7 years ago in Phoenix, in Scottsdale, Arizona, I walked in and there's a bunch of drums at every seat. I was like, what in the heck have I got myself into? And I'm like, my mother-in-law and my father-in-law ensured us that it wasn't one of those things. And you know, we gave Amber's parents a hard time for 15 months before we made the decision to dive in, and for me to go on program because I still had that stubborn 25 that wouldn't come off, that came off in results not typical. And 2 months later, we go to convention. And after the drumming was done, here comes this colonel up on stage, and they open with posting our country's colors. And they open with an opening prayer. And I turned to Amber and I said, I'm all in. That's a man of character. This is a company with character. A year later, we were one of those coaches that were doing a one-off. And Dr. A called us and said, we've been doing a bunch of videos for our clients. And Dr. A said, Jared Amber, stop doing it. But I want you to come out to Baltimore and help us do videos for the whole company. So we were still too poor to hire a babysitter. So Amber went out and with Lori put together the Habits of Health videos. And this goes to the character of our leaders once again. Our daughter was about 3 years old at the time, and I snapped a picture of her in this raggedy old dress-up dress. And I sent it to Amber, and she showed it to Lori, and Lori's like, it just so happens that my assistant is putting together all of our daughter's old dresses. And these weren't like the dresses that our kids played in. These were like Disney dresses and stuff that were like $100 a pop, right? And she said, is it okay if I just send it to Jared, your little girl? And she overnighted it. So the next day, our 3-year-old tried on about 35 dresses. Some of them were for like a 15-year-old, right? And I popped a picture of every single one of them and sent them to Amber and Lori. At Sundance, Helen talked about the obstacles of the way. A couple weeks later, Amber slipped in the shower, of all things, conked her head. One of our terrific health coaches, that is Amber's doctor, had she not been a health coach of ours, she probably wouldn't have had the same relationship. She demanded that Amber go in for a CT scan. And they find this tumor. 2 weeks after Helen had told us to read the obstacles of the way. And Amber's first question to the doctor, I've got all these crazy thoughts going through my head, my wife's going to die, and what am I going to do? And Amber's question was, do I have to shave my head? And I'm like, man, we've come a long way. And so she said, we've got a trip to Disneyland planned for next week with our kids. We can't disrupt that. So how soon can we get in for the surgery after that? They said about 2 weeks after that. So she went ahead and did it. I am so grateful for Take Shape for Life. I didn't have to hire home health care. I got to be at the door every single time that a bouquet of flowers was delivered from people here. Over 150 bouquets of flowers. Amber couldn't smell them. She couldn't get out of bed. 3 weeks later, I told my kids we have to leave them there. She walked out. I took her on little 50-foot walks. Walked out in the front room, and she's like, Jared, it stinks in here. And she's like, you can throw them all away now. So, what a blessing. In the 4 weeks that she was in bed, before she demanded that I let her get up and start calling her clients again, I was able to call her clients, my clients, all of our coaches. This isn't to boast, I shared this earlier today. I did more than 70 Zooms during the month of January while she was in bed. And I didn't feel bad, I didn't feel like I was neglecting her. She needed to sleep. I felt that because I'm so grateful for Take Shape for Life. I have energy before I wake up that gets me out of bed and allows me to go out and talk to the next person and the next person and the next person. Know what your why is. Because you will never, ever, ever fear talking to that person or offending someone if you know how powerful this is in your life. And we have something that can absolutely change the world because it's changed our world. So let's go out and change it.